Around the world and all the seven seas.
Around the world.
I never leave you, call you heavenly.
Easy on my girl.
And you were there from in the Genesis.
Lord of mercy.
So me, I beg you, baby, stay with me. When the glory starts growing and our story unfolds, one thing never changes, my love for you, girl. And when the whole world starts talk, fans them a ball for me autograph. One thing never changes, my love for you, girl.
Buenos dias, mis amigos. Thank you for joining us on another adventure as we explore a very unique region where the cultures of conquerors clash. A clash of titans, where gods at odds with each other are worshipped in harmony, and a place where invasion has led to inclusion. Welcome to Granada, a city rich with the remnants of the ancient kingdom of Al-Andalus. Fun fact, Granada in Inglés means pomegranate. This private elevator takes you straight to the pearly gates. Just say Hala Madrid 3 times and it takes you to St. Peter in the upper room.
Upper room with Jesus. You know what that is? The upper room the motherfucker be singing about? The upper room. Yeah, that's right. Tell you what, you die first, I'm gonna sing at your funeral. I'm gonna just bust up in the motherfucker and go to the upper room. Let them shoot me. I don't give a fuck. They'll take me out singing that motherfucker.
What's the name of that nightclub of yours again?
You talking about the Boom Boom Room?
Yeah, the Boom Boom Room, that's it. Well, I sure like to see that place when you get it all up and running and pretty looking.
Hey! Ain't nobody trying to hear that bullshit, man.
Yeah, I tell you what though, Radio, you should have been by there last night. Should have had yourself some big fun. Satchmo was up in there and nearly blew the roof off the place.
Granada is located in the autonomous region of Spain called Andalusia, nestled on the simmering southern coast of Spain, staring across the narrow sea separating Europe from Africa. These neighbors share a nuanced relationship and complex history of conquest and integration, each influencing the other in irreversible ways. There is a rich and intertwined history between the Caliphate and conquistadores, which adds context to Islamic invasion into Europe. The markets look like the Moroccan bazaars you would find in Marrakesh, with Arab men peddling their wares and the menus clearly inspired by North African and Arabian cuisine. The streets are crowded with Catholic churches competing with mosques for the soul of the city. The architecture is old, beautifully antiquated, with an archaic charm from the last kingdom of Al-Andalus. The story on this occasion takes us to Spain. You might have heard of it. Terrible at football, and the women, ay Dios mío, all look like La Chupacabra. The Spanish have been suffering from blindness and living in Delulu since the 15th century, when Cojones Columbus sailed to the New World, and despite the natives he found there, declared it for Catholics and country. Imagine, if you will, for a moment, un momento, had the Spanish not brought Catholicism to the New World, how many altar boys would have been spared the passion of Christ? A most unlikely union has developed out of a conflict of very different colonial powers. The Spaniards, bent on expanding their tapas franchise to the New World, and Muslim Moors, who later took control of much of modern-day Portugal and Spain. The invasion of Islam lasted from 711 to 1492, when the Spanish fought back with a flamenco más fuerte and drove the Moors back to Africa with 1,000 Hail Marys and the echoes of castanets imbued by Jesus Cristo himself. Within this arid landscape, we find this gem, an oasis of Islamic ingenuity and horticulture, the Emerald Gardens of the Generalife Palace. The palace was built in the 13th century as a country estate for the rulers of the Emirate of Granada. The Nasrid rulers replaced the Almohad Caliphate, but the end was already near. Their territory and power had been steadily dwindling while the crown of Castile was on the rise. The sultans of the dynasty would see out another 2 centuries before succumbing to Spanish reconquest. The palace is a memory and a monument, an homage to the Muslim hands and minds that made it. One cannot help but be in awe at the exquisite architecture. Look how intricate the designs. An ode to its engineers from the beauty and excess of that bygone era. No splendor was spared in the hewing of these halls. Imagine the court at the height of its glamour. Nasrid princes with gems and jewels up to their eyebrows, with golden drip jingling on every limb. The sultans would have immeasurable swag, their robes whispering feverishly on the tiles as they patrolled these walkways and gardens, their beards glistening with oils, and their intoxicating perfume filling the air. Aladdin would be off somewhere trying to rub Jasmine's lamp. Abu and Carpet would be sunning themselves in the garden. And Iago would be desperately trying to escape Raja's clutches.
How are you doing that?
It's a magic carpet.
It's lovely.
You don't want to go for a ride, do you? We could get out of the palace, see the world.
Is it safe?
Sure, do you trust me?
What?
Do you trust me?
Yes.
So the Albaycin is the old town at the foot of the Alhambra, sitting in the shadows of the Sierra Nevada as this giant tiptoes through the town. The narrow cobble streets twist and turn, leaving visitors out of breath with its breathtaking vistas. The whitewashed walls reflect the sun that burns hotter this far south, stark against the sandy brown of the complex that overlooks it. Welcome to the Nasrid Palaces. This room is the Mexwar chamber, and this is where the Sultan would dispense justice. The palaces were built by Mohammed V, building upon the works of his father Yusuf I. And in the absence of the Sultan, Jafar could be found here, taking the peace out of peasants. Jafar was especially cruel when his eyeliner wouldn't sit right. Maybe it's Maybelline, maybe it's not. From the Golden Court, we wind our way deeper into this beautifully preserved palace. Rumor has it, somewhere in here, Will Smith is waiting to grant 3 wishes if you rub him in the right place. If you rub him the wrong way, he'll have strong words for you.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
This is the Court of Myrtles, the Comares Tower and Hall of the Throne. This was the residence of the Sultan and his family. The court is named for the beds of myrtle flanking the cistern. Deeper we go down the rabbit hole, and our curiosity takes us into perhaps the most iconic portion of the palace, the Court of Lions. The court is surrounded by 124 columns of Macael. There are 4 canals that feed the fountain, representing the 4 rivers of paradise. The structure has a pride of 12 lions, which is predominantly believed to represent the 12 tribes of Israel. The videos and pictures don't do justice to the palace, nor the majesty and mystique of this monument. The men who first imagined this place more than 600 years ago are all buried. The Alhambra has outlived them all. Through their works, through this legacy, these names will live forever until the Red Fortress returns to dust. History has a very fickle memory. It is often forgetful, but with feats such as this, with monuments such as this, history has made them immortal with its memory. All around the palace, there are these masterfully crafted archways, and through them one can steal glimpses of Albaycin below, basking in the Andalusian sun, shimmering in the heat like a mirage. The palaces are expansive, consisting of well-groomed gardens in the inner courtyard. To the rear of the palace, no ditty, is a viewing gallery that overlooks Albaycin. We leave the beauty of this desert oasis and make our way to La Torre de Cautiva, Tower of the Captive. This section of the northern wall was repurposed from a defensive tower to a palatial residence before it was called La Torre de Ladrona, Tower of the Woman Thief. Many believe the name was changed when Lady Isabel de Solis converted to Islam, and being the favorite wife of Muli Hassan, was isolated in this tower like a Muslim Rapunzel. Lady Isabel, on conversion to Islam, changed her name to Zoraya, 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 let down your hair. Wallahi, alhamdulillah. The couple out wander into the palace of Charles V. The palace is an unprecedented example of Renaissance architecture. The combination of the square outer walls with a circular coliseum in the center was avant-garde for that age. Charles V started construction of the palace in 1527, but never finished it. The royal court was set up in Madrid, and the project was abandoned in favor of the continuation of colonizing the New World. You might wonder why a Spanish monarch would build a coliseum in southern Spain. But Charles V had more titles than even Daenerys Targaryen. Charles was the Holy Roman Emperor, Archduke of Austria, King of Spain, and Duke of Burgundy. The Khaleesi couldn't compete. It was Real Madrid versus Getafe. The ball was in the back of the net before you could say bend the knee. The couple we see getting married are King Ferdinand II of Aragon and Queen Isabella I of Castile, known as the Catholic monarchs. In 1492, this power couple accepted the surrender of Granada, which signaled the end of the Moorish civilization in Spain. In that same year, the Crown of Castile sent Cojones Columbus to find the New World. The Spanish were fiercely Catholic, and their places of worship like this basilica were extravagant. This is La Basilica de San Juan de Dios, John of God, the saint to the sick. In 1737, the Hospitaller Order initiated the construction of this beautiful Baroque work basilica to house the remains of the saint. I have only ever seen this much gold and splendor in the halls of King Thor of Erebor, king under the mountain. In the name of God, Ferdinand and Isabella introduced the Spanish Inquisition, a charming game like 21 Questions or a quiz show, where someone would pull out your fingernails and cut out your tongue for heresy. Good times. Through this VR headset, those of us who won't make it to heaven can get a glimpse of the promised land. The views are to die for. Thank you, I will be here all week. I'm the opening act for the Inquisition.
The beauty of this fortress city was legend. Its wealth lay in the earth, in precious gems hewn from rock, and in great seams of gold running like rivers through stone. The skill of the dwarves was unequaled, fashioning objects of great beauty.
Let me risk a little more light. Behold, the great realm and dwarf city of Dwarrowdale.
Well, there's an eye-opener and no mistake.
La Catedral de Granada, or Basílica Catedral Metropolitana de la Encarnación for short, is the seat of the Archdiocese of Granada. The ground was broken in 1523 and completed in 1704. The main architect for the cathedral was Balin, son of Fundin, Lord of Moria. This restaurant, Carmen Mirador de Aisha, is a beautiful and quaint eatery located in Albaicin, overlooking the Alhambra.
A5 guayu, and inside the ninojaki is with a cream of boletus, that's a mushroom. And the another one is a belly sashimi, right? And inside you have a foam of kimchi, that's not spicy, just a little bit. So the first we're going to do is flame it a little bit. The guayu, and for the guayu we're going to shave a little bit of truffle. You like the truffle? And for what we have a pierce of wasabi, right? That's not spicy, but have the flavor of the wasabi.
This is tuna tartare. Tuna is a specialty of this restaurant and this region. Every part of the tuna is prepared here. Nothing is wasted. A few miles to the south, in the warm waters off the Spanish coast, seasoned sailors practice almadraba, a 3,000-year-old Phoenician technique used to catch Atlantic bluefin tuna. Almadraba in ancient Andalusian Arabic means a place to fight. After dinner and dessert, the middle-aged couple wander off into the night, eager to explore these cobbled streets overrun with pimps and their pride, otherwise known as ladies of the night. You're not allowed to call them prostitutes anymore. They have pensions and unions nowadays. You can even pay with Visa, at least that's what I've heard. The night air is warm and filled with a myriad of sweet scents. The couple crawl to a nearby rooftop bar. From this crow's nest they can see Albayzin fast asleep at the foot of Alhambra. Granada has been quite the adventure. Until our next excursion, hasta la vista y salud.